Hey people, welcome back, or as we never left, or something like that. I have no idea. This is Beyond the Music with Zeke Martin, that'd be me, and I'm sitting down with Pat Loomis, or as most people know, Ivory Jones.
Hey, what's up?
Did you really just wave to the microphone?
Yes, I waved to the microphone on
Awesome.
the offhand chance that somebody somewhere could actually see us.
So you are, for a lack of a better word, famous in Boston as a saxophone player. Well, you're well known.
Well known. We'll call it well known.
We'll call it well known.
That's good.
Everybody knows who you are. You know, everybody's seen you play, and if they haven't, they should definitely go out
Yes.
and see you play. And I know you post all your dates on Facebook and all that stuff. But, you know, this is Beyond the Music. So there's a part that people might not know, unless the people who know you know. But there's a part of you, as he's wearing his GOAT jersey right now.
TV12, baby.
You are a huge football fan.
Yes, I am.
And not just like, you know, yay, go Pats. It's like more of like...
Rabid.
It's like
I'm a rabid fan, yeah.
It's like deeper than that. I mean...
Yeah. Well,
so talk to me about that. So how did that get all started?
All right. Well, I'd always liked football since I was a kid.
Did you play football?
I did play football. I did play a bit of football.
What position?
On offense, I played tight end.
You were a tight end?
Yeah. And
you're shorter than me.
Yeah, but when you're a kid, it doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay.
And then I played linebacker on defense.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
So you do both sides.
Well, yeah, when it's like Pop Warner and that kind of Pee-wee football, whatever they call it, they have you play both sides because that way you learn the game.
Gotcha.
Learn both sides of the game and stuff like that. So, obviously, I never got big enough to be a football player. And I found out that, you know, whether it was football or basketball, I played basketball too.
Okay. Which I know because we actually go in the summertime, we go and play ball together.
Baseball, soccer. Okay. If you injure your hand, like you break a finger, you can't play saxophone if you break a finger. That's
true.
And since I was a better saxophone player than an athlete, it was pretty obvious which one I was gonna give up. You know? But I've still watched it. I mean, when I followed it and watched it when I was growing up in Seattle. I mean, it was Sunday afternoon, man, right in front of the TV with mom and dad watching the Seattle Seahawks and stuff. And then I came here. When I came here in '88, the New England Patriots sucked. They did. I mean, pretty much sucked.
That was after their '86
right.
Super Bowl quest, and
that was
trampled
by the
Bears.
The
Bears.
And rightfully so. It was a great team, the Bears, that year.
They even did a hip hop song. I mean, come on.
The Super Bowl Shuffle.
That's
come on now. So anyway, when I got here in '88, the Patriots sucked, and then around the mid '90s, they started getting good when they got Drew Bledsoe, and Bill Parcells was the coach, and then after Parcells left, Pete Carroll came in, who was not a great Patriots coach, but he went on to be a really good coach for USC and then for the Seattle Seahawks, and then he guided Seahawks to a Super Bowl win.
Right.
They lost the next year to the Patriots, but we'll get to that. And then,
but you digress.
But I digress. So, and then I remember, I was watching the game in 2001 when they played the Jets and out in Foxborough, and Drew Bledsoe took a vicious hit, which I found out later, like sheared a blood vessel in his chest, and and blood was filling up his lungs.
Oh my God!
He basically almost died from that.
Wow!
And from that, at that point, he obviously couldn't go back in the game.
Right.
And so this dude, the backup came in, number 12, whose jersey I'm wearing, which of course you can't see. And then, I mean, it didn't take, a genius to be able to figure out that something had changed for the Patriots when Brady took over.
Yeah.
I mean, Belichick was already the coach, but Belichick's first year in 2000, they were like 5-11.
Okay.
And then, the next year, Brady was like fourth on the depth chart in 2000. And by 2001, he worked himself up to backup. He worked his way up to backup. And from there, once Bledsoe got injured, Brady came in, they started winning.
Yeah.
The whole team was just playing better all the way around. And they went on and won the Super Bowl. And then 2 more after that, and then we're always, went to Super Bowls or the AFC Championship. I mean, it's been like a historic 20-year run. And they started out this season undefeated. They're one of 3 teams that are undefeated this season, 4-0. And, I mean, haven't watched football since I was a kid. I've seen this quarterback and this coach and this team has done amazing things. I mean, if you had to pick one thing, you got to go back to Super Bowl 51.
Okay.
When they played the Atlanta Falcons.
Right.
They're losing. Yeah, they're
comeback.
The comeback of all comebacks. They come back from 28-3 in the middle of the third quarter.
Right.
And I remember after the game, I spoke to my dad. I called my dad, and this was a couple months before he passed away. And he said, "I've been watching football since the 1940s."
Wow. Okay.
And he said, "I've never seen anything like that comeback."
Wow.
He said, it's going to be a long time before anyone equals that.
Wow.
So, and the other thing about Tom Brady was, I'm trying to remember, this was 2010. My kids were going to an after-school program up on Mission Hill at the Tobin Community Center, and so they had after-school activities. And they had sports was one of them. Right. So they were doing flag football, and I was like, okay. And the director says one day he comes and he says, "All right, everybody in the gym who's playing football, we're gonna play. I want you guys to face the wall, do your stretches," because you got all limbered up and everything. And while they're facing the wall, Tom Brady comes in.
No way.
Yeah. Tom Brady comes in. He donated $5,000 to the Tobin Community Center.
Holy
now,
crap.
You think,
that's amazing.
Yeah, it is, because you think of like Tom Brady, married to a Brazilian supermodel, jet sets all over the world and stuff like that. It's not like Peyton Manning when he pushes Papa John's pizza or Bud Light or something. It's like Aston Martin cars.
Right.
Really fancy designer watches, things like that. And so you think, it's very high-end stuff. And he lives in like Chestnut Hill or something like that.
Well, he's selling his house.
Right, but I mean, he's still kind of there at this point. And, he's got houses in Costa Rica, all over the world, blah, blah, blah. And so it's like, you really didn't, nobody, they were like, when they contacted, Patriots players that come before, and it had been, fairly well-known guys. But this time, it was like Brady came.
Wow.
And it's like, that, even in 2010, he was a superstar. And it's like, for him to come to the hood.
Right.
Mission Hill, that's, parts of that are not exactly,
best. Right.
Yeah, and it was I was really shocked. He came, he donated, he stayed, he played flag football with the kids. Somewhere in the archives of Access Hollywood and Extra, there's video of my son Antonio catching a pass.
No way.
From Tom Brady. Yeah.
Oh my God.
12-year-old Antonio
so
was
awesome.
catching a pass from Tom Brady.
That's so cool.
And I asked him, so what was it like catching a pass from Antonio? And Antonio's like, he throws hard. And it's like, you figure he's taking a lot off his fastball with these kids, but it's like, he said, it just hit me in the chest like a ton of bricks, man.
That's awesome.
So
did he get to keep? Did Antonio keep the ball and stuff, or no?
No.
Did he ever wash his hand again?
Yeah, he did, which I was really grateful that he washed his hand actually. But I just have a lot of respect for Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So
let's go back a bit.
Okay.
You said that growing up you did a lot of sports.
Yeah.
Now the whole thing with football. So obviously, like you said, you played a little bit.
Mm-hmm. When Antonio was on a Pop Warner team, I was actually an assistant coach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So growing up in Seattle, 'cause that's where you're from, Sundays was football. Did you get to sit down and learn the game with your dad? Did he teach you what was what?
He did. My dad did that. He explained stuff to me and stuff, and we would watch, and then there were Saturdays, we go out in the backyard and toss the ball around and stuff, and we do different. He explained what the function of this player is, this position, and that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
So, and I like the fact football to me to this day, especially when you've got a really great coach like a Bill Belichick,
right?
Or it's like chess. You've got 11 guys on the.
Now, do you play chess at all? Or no?
Yeah,
you do.
Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
We should play because
I
learned from my dad.
Oh cool, yeah.
Yeah. And
so that's the thing. It's great is that everybody thinks football players are these big dumb guys. I'm like, there's a lot to remember that goes into each game plan
I'm sure.
for each week.
Yeah.
And because everybody is not doing the same thing.
Right.
It's like,
I just find it amazing that everyone remembers their plays.
Remembers the plays.
I mean, I'm sure there's and they have they're on the sidelines and you see them with back in the day when I was, really into it. They didn't have the tablets. But
no,
they had the books,
right.
Yeah,
the books.
And they had these binders and it was full of
exactly.
I mean, these binders were huge.
Yeah.
And they had to learn everything in that. You know what I mean? So it always blew my mind.
And when they're on the sidelines with the tablets, it's basically film from the game, from the cameras up above, and it's like. And, you see Tom Brady go to the sidelines and sit down with Josh McDaniels, the Patriots offensive coordinator. And it's like, okay, this is what didn't go right here.
Right.
And this is what you can do, what you should have done here. So look for this because the defenses, they're showing this tendency to overload. Like, for example, they're going to overload one side of the ball. Or they're going to put 8 guys in the box, which basically means on the defensive line. That means leaves 3 in coverage.
Right.
Some of those guys, those 8 guys, will drop back in coverage, but if they show 8 guys at that point, if you've got this is where Tom Brady's a genius because he's been doing this for 20 years and he's seen just about everything, and so it's like if he sees there's 8 guys on the line on the defense and there's 3 guys in coverage, and Josh McDaniels, the offense coordinator, is called a run play. Tom Brady has the freedom to check out of that play, but they call an audible at the line of scrimmage. They just change Omaha, yeah, that's big.
I know it is, but
but there's all kinds of different.
Right.
They change. I mean, Peyton always used Tom said they pretty much change things every week, and if they got a run play and he sees 8, there's no sense around the ball. If there's 8 guys in the line of scrimmage. Right. It's like he'll be rerouting receivers. On the fly. Yeah. He'll be changing the blocking assignments up front and changing the protection and majority of the time, I mean, he's right. And, he'll see, okay, there's 3 guys in coverage. Okay, I'm going to check out this run play. I'm going to get 5 wides. Yeah. And they're going to have to switch very quickly. Right. Because and then it's countering every move. And that's a chess aspect, which I really like.
So what I mean, obviously, so you didn't play, like you said, you broke a finger. I mean, if you broke a finger.
Yeah, I weighed the options. Yeah.
What made you kind of okay, forget, screw football. I'm going with saxophone. What made you stay with, because you could have left the game. You could have been all right, that's cool. I'm into saxophone. I'm doing this. What made you kind of stick with I want to really get into, because a lot about the plays what the people do.
Because like I said, that chess match aspect of it, and also because of, I mean, you watched, it's high drama, man. It's high drama. It really is, because it's...
Kill!
Exactly. It's high drama. I mean, when you have something like that, Super Bowl 51 where it's 28-3 and all of a sudden there's this historic comeback. Patriots are down 25 and they end up winning the game in overtime. Right. I mean, even the AFC Championship last year where you get it's over. It ends up going into overtime because it's tied at the end of regulation. Patriots win the toss. They get the ball. They're facing 3rd down and 9-10 yards to go on every time 3rd down comes up. And Brady hits Edelman, he hits Gronkowski, he hits Chris Hogan, and they get the first down, and they just drive down the field. I mean, and it's just you're just on the edge of your seat. Oh my God, that's a long way to go for a first down. They're gonna be able to do this, right? And just to watch it all develop is just it's endlessly compelling to me.
Yeah, what I find fascinating is that you recollect all this stuff, that you remember all this stuff. And
it's major.
I mean, I know as musicians we know so many tunes, we've had this conversation numerous times. It's what's that tune? Oh yeah, it goes blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, I know that. But like to remember, back in 2012, Tom
amazing.
was, you know what I mean?
I
find that really cool that that you've taken on football so strongly.
Right.
Obviously, I know what was the Super Bowl that you had a tough time with.
So Super Bowl 42.
So Super Bowl 42
still hurts.
So
it was the near perfect season. Oh my god.
Well, no, not that one. I was actually talking about the other one where you were stuck between liking the Patriots.
Oh,
and
Super Bowl 49.
Super Bowl 49.
Patriots and the Seahawks.
Right. Patriots and so Pat is from Seattle.
Yeah.
So that must have been tough.
Not really.
No? Okay.
No, I not as tough as I thought. I mean, I was a Seahawks fan growing up, but when I moved back here, it's sort of like you just adapt, and especially when the Patriots started winning, it was just like it was unprecedented. And what ended up happening in Super Bowl 49, it was this Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks. I got unlimited amounts of grief from the people I went to high school with, and even my own family members. No, my friends from high school, but my family members still give me grief.
Really?
Oh my! I mean, after that, that was the game where Malcolm Butler intercepted the ball for the Patriots
on the goal line. Right.
And then
he won and then Tom Brady gave him
the truck because Tom was MVP, and I don't need a truck here. Malcolm, you take it.
Right.
So. Because they don't win the game. I mean, Seahawks are on the 1 yard line. With Marshawn Lynch as your running back, you're probably going to get in there.
Right.
But they decided to call a pass play.
Right.
And because they loaded up the box and put everybody up there because that's a natural thing to do. Belichick saw something. He's like, they're going to throw here, and so he sent in extra defensive backs. Malcolm Butler was that extra defensive back.
Right.
He made the pick. I called my mom and dad after that game. My dad was like, he was disappointed, but he gave the Patriots a lot of credit because it was they won the game.
Right.
You win or you lose in sports. It's basically. And I said, well, let me talk to Mom. I said, well, your mother doesn't want to talk to you right now. I said, what? And I said, why? I said, well, she's really upset about the Seahawks losing. I said, but I'm her son. Come on. I said, she talked to me for a week.
Really?
Yeah. I still give her grief about that to this day.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, my brother thinks Belichick is the Antichrist. So,
That's awesome. So, really big football fan.
Yes, sir.
Which is really cool. We actually have watched and been to games
man,
together and had a great time.
I've been to every Super Bowl parade too.
Oh, nice!
All 6, man.
Oh, soon to be, hopefully.
We'll call 7. Number 7. Stairway to 7, baby. That's right. Woo! All right.
But there's another aspect of you as well that most people actually probably don't know. Is that you are also a big comic book fan.
Oh, yeah.
I know we've had this conversation numerous times. If it was up to you,
yes.
You wouldn't be a sax player. You would be
a superhero.
You'd be a superhero, and you'd probably be
Batman,
exactly.
Except that I don't like the fact about if I could do it without my parents being murdered, that would be great.
Right, of course, right.
But
I mean, the billions of dollars
like
that will help.
Yeah, that's true. But it's like I want to. I mean, as a saxophonist, as a jazz musician, I mean, I want to be Charlie Parker, but without the drugs.
Right, there you go. Right, exactly. There you go.
So it's like.
So, how'd you get into comic books?
Okay, I got into comic books because of a TV show.
Okay.
Back in, because I was born in 1965.
Gotcha.
So when I was about 4 or 5, I saw the Batman TV show with Adam West.
Oh, okay.
Burt Ward as Batman and Robin.
Pow, kasham.
Yeah, and the colors were, I mean, the colors were so bright, vibrant,
really vibrant.
And the gadgets, to this day, that Adam West Batmobile to me is still the coolest one. Honestly, there was a Ford Futura that this guy basically turned into,
that they kind of souped up.
It's souped up for TV and stuff. And so that's what got me into it. And then, as a result of that, I think it was my dad, probably, who said, because he read Batman when he was a kid, because the character was created in 1939.
Okay.
And so my dad was 6 when Batman debuted in Detective Comics.
Gotcha.
Detective Comics #27. If you ever get it, you have to pay good money. It's a huge collector's item.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So he said, you should start reading the comics. So can you buy me one, Dad?
Right.
So he said, so he bought me one with...
which one? What was it?
It was Batman.
Okay.
But the artist was Neil Adams. And at that point, in the early 60s, before the TV show happened, Batman comics were selling dismally. And they were thinking of just canceling the character altogether.
Oh, okay.
And so what happened was the TV show came along, and that all of a sudden, that just revitalized the characters. So what DC Comics did in their books was, well, we're going to make the comics like the TV show.
Gotcha.
You know, the TV show was campy, funny, parody, whatever, but it was really well done. I mean, and so what happened after the TV show got canceled? They decided, okay, because like every TV show, when the ratings go down, it eventually gets canceled.
Right.
So what happened was they started to move away from, the Bright Knight, Adam West Batman, getting back in touch with his roots. Well, what can we do that's so different now?
Right.
And basically back to
the dark side.
The Dark Knight.
Right.
The ears got longer, more bat looking like looking.
I think the eyes got more shiftier.
Yeah, and the cape got longer.
Right.
And you had more. I mean, amazingly, the TV show. There were a lot of scenes in daylight shot in that show. And I'm like, okay, Batman's a shadowy dude. What's he doing out in the daylight? And so in the comic books, everything was happening at night, and you had him. The shot of him. There's always a shot of Batman up on top of a building with gargoyles. Right. And because of the costume, he kind of blend from a distance. You can't think. You won't think if he's just sitting there watching. You think he's it's a gargoyle. He just blends in because with all the shadows and everything. So they started doing that in the comic books. There was an artist named Neil Adams, who which you can't see, listeners. This is Neil Adams' artwork.
Batman with Robin. Not Batman and Robin.
Well, at that point, Robin had gone off to college. So
got it.
He was a guest so on. But
gotcha.
look at the cape, man. It's like
really long.
And the ears are longer.
Stuff.
I mean, it's amazing, and so that was what they were really going for. And as the 70s turned into the 80s, and then Frank Miller did The Dark Knight Returns. It got more and more like that, and now. But
then a lot of the shows came too, like cartoon wise.
Oh yeah.
Of Batman. Like actually, I was talking to Dominic because he's a comic book person. Also, we were talking about one of my actually favorites was Justice League.
Justice League, Super Friends or Justice League?
Super Friends.
Super Friends. Yeah. That was still very, very Adam West.
Right. Yeah.
But they did in the 2000s. I don't remember exactly when in the 2000s they did do a Justice League cartoon.
Right. Yeah.
Which was sort of an outgrowth of Batman the Animated Series in the 90s, and that's a dark cartoon.
Yeah, it is.
Because basically Antonio, my son, is really into it. Batman's his favorite show.
Yeah.
And he said that he had watched or read or watched a special feature that basically, when they do storyboards, when they do the backgrounds for animated films and stuff, the canvas is all white.
Right.
With Batman, they started with a dark canvas.
Wow. Okay.
So that's the overriding.
Right.
That's the overriding mood in Batman the Animated Series, which, and then when they did Justice League, it was the same guy who did the voice too.
Right.
And so it was basically the same. It's basically the same character, and he's he talks down here like this,
really low and stuff like that. Yeah, no, I got into a lot of the cartoons.
Oh yeah.
As well. I mean, the Super Friends was like
everybody loved the
everybody loved.
But I remember the Spider-Man. 60s Spider-Man.
Which we play sometimes.
Oh yeah, which we play. It's a blues basically, so it's like you can swing that sucker, man.
That's right.
But that was a great, and a lot of that artwork was based on what Steve Ditko was doing in Marvel for Marvel in the Spider-Man comic books. I mean, the way that the character, and just the big, because Spider-Man takes place in New York City. It's not a fictitious thing like Gotham City for Batman. It's actually most of Marvel comics take place in New York City.
Right.
And so, the Spider-Man cartoon from the 60s, I mean, you really get the sense that he's in New York because the buildings are
really tall. Right.
Yeah, really, and you can see him.
Right.
You know, it's
really dipping low and stuff like that.
Yeah, and so that's great. I mean,
the Amazing Spider-Man, you know, that cartoon was great.
Oh yeah.
But as you know, time, you know, and you know, things develop, blah blah.
Oh yeah.
You know, we're talking about the Batman cartoon. I think the one that you were saying that Antonio watched
was from the early 90s.
Yeah, which I loved.
The storylines were so good. The voice acting was so good. And the look of the show was just, I mean...
It was really good.
It was like...
I really dug that.
It's like film noir sort of background.
Right, and I loved how, you know, the drawings were and everything.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was... Like you said, the storyline was really good. It actually was riveting. It kept you...
Like, they
had your attention.
Yeah, like, for example, there was one... there's a 2-part episode I remember from Batman the Animated Series where the guy who murdered Robin, Dick Grayson's parents, was getting out of jail.
Okay.
Because he'd served his time. Because Batman had taken him in back in the day.
Right.
And Robin was a college student at the point when this guy was getting out. And Batman didn't want Robin to find out because he didn't want Robin to go on a revenge kick to try to kill him. And so Batman went to because he knew the guy was gonna
do something.
Yeah, he's gonna do something because he's a career criminal.
Right.
So, so that's all, and so it goes into the backstory of how Dick Grayson was his parent. He and his parents were part of a circus act.
Right.
They were acrobats, and the guy who ended up killing him basically was doing that because he was a mobster looking to get protection money from the head of the circus, and so if you don't give me protection money, then something bad's gonna happen, and that was John and Mary Grayson. They cut the wire on the trapeze.
On the trapeze, I remember that. Yeah.
And so
as we talk
really
about,
good. And that was
remembering the storyline.
Yeah, and that's
the show too.
And
but that's deep. Like
it's very for something that's supposed to be kid friendly. That's really heavy, and that actually won an Emmy award.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
It did.
Okay. I mean, that type of. I mean, it's interesting how a lot of those cartoons, are so deep. Now that you're older and you're kind of stepping back and whoa, that's
a long way from Adam West and Burt Ward, man.
Right, that's some really deep stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? As opposed to ooh, look at me.
And then the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, were just amazing. Mm-hmm. That whole Dark Knight trilogy was just mind-boggling, and I like Michael Keaton as Batman.
That's my favorite, personally.
Val Kilmer was okay. George Clooney was terrible.
I don't even think anybody talks about that one.
No, George Clooney's still apologizing for ruining the franchise.
I think everyone in that movie is still apologizing.
Oh, I think so.
It actually was a really all-star cast.
It was an all-star cast with
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Bad story.
Jim Carrey.
No, Jim Carrey was in The One with Val Kilmer.
Oh, that's right.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, Uma Thurman, Alicia Silverstone, Chris O'Donnell, and George Clooney, and it was just one big ugly mess.
Oh, it was a mess. Oh, it was awful
and terrible. And whoever thought to cast Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl should be fired. And so, then it took Christopher Nolan to get it on straight. And I personally, some people disagree, I like Ben Affleck as Batman. Yeah. The movies, but the storyline is. But I like that he basically was playing an older Batman, like the one in Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, where Batman is in his 40s and he's been he's just burnt out. Right. And he's like, why am I still doing this? But he doesn't know any other life. Right. And so, but I'm skeptical about the Twilight dude, Robert Pattinson, playing Batman now for the next movie. Oh, wow. But I was skeptical about Michael Keaton, and I was wrong. I was skeptical about Heath Ledger playing the Joker, which was amazing. God, was I wrong about that? Yeah, he was amazing. I was skeptical about. Well, by that time I got to Ben Affleck, I'm like, I've been through the Keaton and the Ledger thing. Give him a chance. Right. To me, he didn't disappoint. Scripts could have been better, but he did.
Are you looking forward to the new Joker movie?
Yeah. and I'm interested to see how faithful it is to the comics thing, where he basically looks that way because he fell in a vat of chemicals.
Right.
And I'm not sure, from what I've seen in the trailer, it's the same sort of thing.
Right.
But Joaquin Phoenix is a brilliant actor.
Yeah.
And it won an award at, I think, Cannes Film Festival.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
I'm interested to see it, and And the thing is like, this is gonna be a little different. It's not gonna be exactly the comics version.
Of course not.
Because in this movie, Bruce Wayne is a kid.
Gotcha. Okay.
And Batman was sort of the reason, inadvertently, that the Joker fell into the vat of chemicals in the comic books, because the Joker was chasing the guy who became the Joker, who was wearing a different disguise at that point. And the guy, he was trying to get away from Batman and ended up losing his footing and falling in. Mm-hmm. So once he got out and was all green hair, pasty skin and stuff, he blamed Batman for everything.
Gotcha.
It's like the way it was portrayed, the one with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson.
Well, because in that one they have, I guess, the Joker before he became the Joker.
Yeah, he was a thug.
He was a thug, and he killed. That's why, they've always... Still, I was telling Dominic the same thing. My favorite of all Batman movies is still, Lego Batman.
I forgot about that one. Will Arnett was brilliant.
Oh, yeah, no, it was amazing. But in one part of the movie, the Joker and the Batman are kind of like, he has them, and it's like, you can't live without me. You're
they are kind of two sides of the same coin, and that was really...
in the first movie, it's like, the reason Batman became Batman is because of Joker, but the reason Joker became Joker is because of Batman.
That's not even DC Comics canon. Nobody knows the Joker's... His name wasn't Jack Napier.
No.
Nobody knew. But you can take artistic license in movies. So I'm looking forward to the Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah,
I'm going to see it this weekend.
Should be cool.
I'm also a Marvel fan.
Okay, well that's
Marvel movie fan.
So
I loved the whole arc from Iron Man to Avengers Endgame was brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm glad Sony and Disney struck a deal, and now Spider-Man is back in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking forward to the conclusion of that how, now that Spider-Man's identity has been outed to the public, how is he going to get out of that?
Right.
And Marvel does their superhero movies very, very well.
Yeah, well, that kind of leads
Warner
to the
Brothers
next question.
Should take notes and not necessarily try to copy it, but figure out the spirit of what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Marvel's been very consistent, whereas Warner Brothers, DC Comics has been very hit and miss.
Yeah.
DC Comics does TV shows better than Marvel does.
Right. Most definitely.
And animated stuff better. So I guess everyone's got their little area that they, that they excel in. But
So are you? I know you're a big Batman fan. Batman, that's your boy. Everything. I know.
I love Superman. I like the Flash.
But
I love the Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah, that was great. Great.
Ignore the phone in the background.
Yeah, it's important.
It's Commissioner Gordon calling on the bat phone. Yeah.
There you go. My question was since I know Batman's your guy and stuff like that, but are you more of a DC guy or a Marvel person? Like, I
am more of a DC guy, but I like them both.
Okay.
I really do. I read both growing up.
Okay.
Like I loved Todd McFarlane's artwork on Spider-Man in the early 90s was mind-boggling.
Okay.
Just like Jim Lee's art on Batman in the 2000s has been just brilliant. Like I'm such a geek for this stuff. I know who the names of the artists and the writers. Tom King's running Batman right now, writing it. Revolutionary. It's great. It's
cool.
And you get those talented people in there.
Yeah.
It's really, it makes, when it's a character like Batman and Spider-Man, where they're both really popular,
right?
Well,
they've also been both around
for long. Batman's been around for 80 years,
right.
Spider-Man's been around since the 60s,
right?
So it's like they try to cash in on that and put them in as many books as possible. and sometimes the quality lags on some of them. But when you get a good artist and a good writer, it's Commissioner Gordon's texting now. I see.
There you go.
Get me on the bat phone, so he's bat texting me. It's great, and I mean, when the Batman vs Superman movie came out a few years ago, I saw an interview with Ben Affleck, and he said these really are like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, whoever. They really are like modern mythology, just like you know you had the Greek gods back in the day.
Man, someone's really trying to reach you.
Yeah, boy, it must be Joker must be on the loose. But it's modern mythology in the sense of like you had Zeus and you had Hercules and you had Athena and Apollo and Mercury. I mean, the Flash is Mercury.
Right.
You think about it. And I don't know, Superman, Hercules. I mean, Batman is Hades, or whatever. You could draw all these parallels, but so that's a way of looking at it.
Yeah. So, DC Marvel. Oh, okay. So DC Marvel. What's Man, I had the question and I lost it. It's all the
phone ringing.
It's the phone ringing. It's
Gordon's interrupting your train of thought. Man.
Exactly. So, besides being a DC person or a Marvel person, other than Batman.
Yes.
So, Batman's your favorite on DC.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite on Marvel?
Captain America.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I did not see that one coming.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were going to say like Spider-Man or something.
He's up there. Spider-Man's a close second, but I like Captain America. My dad was into Captain America when he was a kid.
Okay.
And so what happened was when I started reading Captain America, it was in the 1970s.
Gotcha.
And that was an interesting time in America because you had the Vietnam War,
right.
You had Watergate,
right.
And it was all and you'd have the whole counterculture thing with the 60s and into the 70s with hippies and this and that, and it was all like, well, what is and civil rights, and so what is America?
Right.
And where does Captain America fit in that? Because he's seen as a patriotic figure who fought in World War II, and then he got frozen in ice, and so it was suspended animation. Came back in the 60s, and it was a whole different. It's like a man out of time at that point.
Right.
I kind of dug that because like, where do I fit in?
Right.
In this, and in the movies they touch on that.
Yeah. So not to give a spoiler, but let's jump ahead real quick.
Yes,
I know
that's fine.
Captain America is your favorite. Yeah. What'd you think about the end of the Endgame when he goes back, lives his life, comes back, he's all old, and then hands the
shield to the Falcon.
To the Falcon.
That was great.
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't there be a black Captain America?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, it's like...
I thought it was awesome. Like,
I thought it was great. And that happened in the comic books, too.
Right, I know
Both Bucky and Sam Wilson had the stints as Captain America.
Right.
And I'm like, why not? I mean, it just, it's like...
It's 2019.
It's 2019. Why not have I mean, he's just as qualified as anybody else. And he,
most definitely.
Maybe... And I also liked... Did you see... Into the Spider-Verse?
Of course I did.
Yeah, you saw it in the Spider-Verse. So Miles Morales,
right.
Who's Morales? That's a Latino name. Right. Why not have a Latino Spider-Man?
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
Right. No, I think...
And they're talking about, like, maybe Idris Elba being the next James Bond. Why not?
Right. No, I think that, comic books, from the beginning of time... And then taking all the movies and all that stuff because it's just an extension of the comic book. Mm-hmm. I feel like have always, done certain things, to go with what's going on in the world, to go with what's going on.
Oh
in
yeah,
society
you can look at the history
like
of comics. It's very
taken,
much so.
It's they've.
Yeah, there was a story.
Checked out stuff that's like
there was a story
that's going on.
In Green Arrow and Green Lantern had a joint comic book.
Yeah.
And in that, Green Arrow's sidekick Speedy becomes a heroin addict.
Right.
And they talked all about that in the book. And in Spider-Man, Harry Osborn got addicted to drugs. Right. So it's like they've dealt with stuff, Yeah,
and I think it's really cool, because we've all read comic books as kids, and it's like you read this like, oh, it's this is like life.
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to.
I mean, it's an exaggerated thing like this. You got people with amazing abilities that can fly and lift.
But they still talk about, you know, everyday life issues that happen in the world.
Superman is Superman, and you know, but he's basically grew up on a farm in Kansas, so it's like he's just he's got all the superpowers and all this stuff.
Oh man!
But he's just a guy who, you know, when he's not doing that, he's just he's a mild-mannered reporter. Yeah,
that's right.
And he's and you see that when you see him in like the relationship with Lois Lane. It's like you see the Earth side of him, not the Kryptonian superhero. You see just the Earth part of him. You know?
No, I definitely
grew up on this planet and grew up in the Midwest. And
exactly. Yeah.
Just wants to kind of chill, you know.
Right. Yeah, but so you know, I like that. You know, Marvel did that. You know, with Captain America.
Yeah.
Just all those.
I thought it was great. Endgame was an amazing film. That was one of the best, honestly, regardless of super genre, whether it's superhero or fantasy, whatever. It was the perfect way to cap off that whole thing. It did. And it didn't seem like 3 hours when I was
it didn't.
Because I was just like this. Right. And I'd never been... I don't think I've ever been in a theater where people cheered that loud. Yeah. Like the part where, you know, Thanos is about to stab Thor. Right. And then Thor's hammer flies into Cap's hand.
He's like, wait, it's coming.
And it's like everyone in the theater is like, ah! You know, it was amazing. And when he said when they all came back, you know, Avengers Assemble, I was leading the cheers, man. I was like, yes, that's great. You know, it was really excellently done.
Yeah, most definitely. And also, you know, dealing with what's going on in the world right now. I like there was one part in the movie when it was like, okay, you guys tried, now it's all the women's turn to like kick some butt.
Oh yeah, they did.
You know what I mean? And I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? I really liked the way that
I thought
they take what's going on in society right now, or what the issues are, or whatever, and they kind of and
look at it this way. If Thanos doesn't order his ships to like fire on everybody, Scarlet Witch is gonna kill Thanos because she's got the ability to do it. Right. And she was jacking him up at that point.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, it was fun talking about, you know, football and comics and
stuff.
You know, and stuff. You know, so Beyond the Music. This is Pat Loomis Beyond the Music. You know, football, comic book.
It sounds like something on VH1.
That's
VH1 Beyond the Music.
Hey, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Hey, you know, that channel needs a little livening up. So.
Oh man, I miss you know, VH1. Back in the day.
I miss MTV from back in the day too.
That too.
When they actually played music.
Yeah, exactly. So cool, man. Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. And we'll catch you guys next episode.
Woo!